look at how to convert a fraction to a decimal fraction. If you haven't already, please head over and watch my video about equivalent fractions, because that will really help you with what we're about to do here today. I'm going to start off just with a fraction. So our first fraction I'm going to start with today is 1/5. Here's the fraction 1/5. Now the reason you really need to know about equivalent fractions is because you have to now consider what it is equivalent to. Now our decimal fractions are all either tenths or hundredths. That's what we're going to focus on today. So you have to make this equivalent to a tenth. So you have to look at your denominators first of all. So you're needing to convert 1/5 into a tenth. To do that, you have to multiply by 2. So you do the same to the top. So 1/5 is equivalent to 2 tenths. And 2 tenths as a decimal fraction is 0.2, with a 2 in the tenths place of the number. So having done 1/5, we're now going to do all the other fifths. So converting 2/5 this time into tenths. So we know from when we did 1/5, we multiply the top and the bottom, our denominator and our numerator, by 2. 5 times 2 is 10, so you do the same to the top. 2 times 10 is 4, so as a decimal fraction that is 0.4. Now let's do 3/5. Again, we know to multiply the bottom by 2. That's the only way to get from 5 to 10. So you do the same to the top. 3/5 times 2 is 6. So 6 tenths as a decimal fraction is 0.6. And now 4/5. Multiply the top and the bottom by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So 4/5 is equivalent to 8 tenths, which is a decimal, is 0.8. Now let's look at a half. A half is a very common number and a very common decimal as well. So it's really important that you know how to convert these and what the equivalent fraction and decimal is. So a half into tenths. Remember, we're always doing tenths because decimals are tenths and hundredths. That's what their place value is. So 2 times 5 is what you have to do for your denominators. So you do the same for your numerator. 1 times 5 is 5. So a half is the same as 5 tenths. Written as a decimal fraction is 0.5. We're now going to look at quarters. Here is 1/4. Watch carefully. In all the examples so far, we've converted them to tenths. 4 times what makes 10? You can't do it. You can't do 4 times anything to make it 10. So that doesn't work. You can't change a quarter to tenths. So you have to change a quarter to hundredths. Four times 25 is 100. And that's a wee thing I've always been sort of telling my learners that they should try and remember. 25, 50, 75, 100. Counting in 25s, there are 4 25s in 100. So 4 times 25 is 100. That's what you've done to your denominator. So you've got to do the same to your numerator. 1 times 25 is 25. And then 25 hundredths as a decimal fraction is 0.25. So having done 1/4, now let's do 3/4. So we already know to multiply by 25 for our denominator on the bottom, and that gets us 100 on the bottom of our fraction. So we do the same to our top. 3 times 25, 25, 50, 75. 75 hundredths as a decimal fraction is 0.75. Here's an example of a mixed number. If you can't remember what that is, there's also another video about mixed numbers. Please check that one out, but here's a mixed number. 4 and 3/5. So if you're changing this to a decimal, you keep the whole number part. So the 4 is still going to be there. It's still going to be 4 point something. And you've got to convert your 3/5 bit. So we did this example earlier. We have to multiply 5 by 2 to make it a 10. And we have to multiply the top by the same thing. So 3/5 is the same as 6/10. 5 times 2 is 10, 3 times 2 is 6. 6/10 is 0.6. So you get your 6 part, 6/10 in the 10th column part of your number. All these examples have helped explain to you about how to convert a fraction to a decimal fraction. If you've got any questions though, please do get in touch and watch my next video about match my decimal. It's very similar to another activity we did before called match my fraction. So this is a good one to help you practice converting fractions to decimal fractions. Good luck everybody!